Hey guys, Matt Dog here with another video. I'm using the 60 card Eldlich Horus deck with Transaction Rollback and Elemental Burst and all that good stuff as I try to reach the World Championship qualifier. I have a feeling it won't be too hard to reach the first stage, but I'm not going to have a ton of time to game this week. So I'm just going to record this video now and hopefully be able to record more gameplay as I climb the ladder into next week and so on. So far, it's been pretty fun. I'm gonna show one loss in addition to some of the wins. Uh, it was a very close and exciting loss, I'll say that. This is going to be pretty fun for us, though. So obviously, we have evenly matched, and they are a Vanquish Soul player running some Kashtira cards as like extra attributes that they can show off in their hand. I've said this in one of my other videos. Vanquish Soul is like uniquely poised to be resilient to evenly matched because like they keep a lot of their important cards in their hand. That said, it's good to get rid of those cards anyways. We don't need them popping a monster, popping a spell, any of that stuff, getting searches off. Get a draw two. Nice. Yeah, Dogmatic of Punishment is once per turn, so it's okay to get rid of. And there I actually choose to get rid of both Dogmatic of Punishments just because like Vanquish Soul doesn't really care about getting a single card or even two cards targeted and destroyed. They have a bunch of ways to bounce back to hand to avoid getting targeted or to make themselves indestructible. Here we're gonna just negate and destroy their normal summon so they don't get a search off, they don't have an extra body that they can bounce back to hand. Dimension Shifter. Okay. Also, it's important to. We knew they had a Bestial Magma Hut in hand because they had revealed it earlier. So that's nice that they banished their own Dimension Shifter to free it up for next turn. They're a Karma Cannon, even though they only had like the one card, because they need to have a Vanquish Soul card on the field in order to make a lot of their plays happen. And I just want to have a turn, especially while we're under Shifter. I just want to have a turn where we're able to do our thing and pop off. All right, Torrential Tribute. Our Horus monsters are protected. Okay, they use the Equip spell to search out another Raisin. Here he's going to try to destroy my Imsety, but Imsety is protected from destruction that doesn't target, so that doesn't work. And here, the boss monster he has an effect where he can make himself unaffected by other cards' effects, but that's a quick effect, and you can't activate that quick effect during the damage step because it's not related to how much attack that monster has. So he goes in, he tries to attack one of my Horus monsters, and then I just damage step, Sarcophagus, send to grave, he's done. Rule number two. Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty busy this week, but I'm having a lot of fun so far. I'll talk a lot about some of the theory crafting because I'm finally starting to run into Fire Kings, which is a deck that I had never seen before. I just sort of like vaguely heard about it. And it's a deck that is super resilient to getting destroyed. Like every time you destroy Fire Kings, they just pop off and do a bunch of crazy stuff. This duel, however, is Flu. Okay, what's Flu up to? Normal stuff. They have a sort of a skill drain on legs. Oh, they vanished their skill drain on legs. What is Harpy Lady? Okay, what actually is the reason? Why are they running this? Return it to hand, and you can. So it's an extra way to get an extra normal summon. Okay. Okay, so skill drain on legs. If I normal summon, they get to start normal summoning. What? Oh, is M-Pen not once per turn? Oh, okay, so this way they get multiple searches. Okay. That's actually really cool. Okay. So here, basically, I mean, I don't know what hand traps they have. They probably don't have a ton. It's probably mostly just little birds. However, this trap is going to be really powerful. It's sort of a one-time interruption they can use to just absolutely annihilate us. It's like, um, they flip the trap, they start normal summoning, they can banish a card in our grave, they can recycle a resource, they can use the map to tribute cards on my side of the field up to every time they do another tribute summon, which if they had M-Pen in hand, they could do that twice. I think right now it's just going to be once per turn. And then also once they do that, then they can banish the trap to flip all my cards over. So it's like yeah, how many interruptions is that? It's like Karma Cannon plus tribute any one card your opponent controls, plus they use the big Monarch to bounce any two cards. Um, plus a banish. Yeah, so this one trap gives them tons of interruptions. However, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab an Eldlich and target the trap to force it out now. So because I don't have resources on the field, they're not gonna get nearly as much value off of that trap as they normally would. And normal summoning using while they have the map on the field would do the same thing. So what I could have done is I could have gone for um the unexplored winds instead, because it's a really important continuous spell that gives them a ton of advantage against back row decks like ours, but it was more important to make force out the map early. So here I'm just trying to pop the unexplored winds. It's super important to get rid of that when you're playing against Flu. And basically, I'm kind of on a summon limit or bust type situation. It's really important not to shotgun summon limit here because it'd be very easy for them to normal summon one monster and then on the second summon grab the monarch and then it shuffles back our summon limit. So we have to wait until they commit their second summon. And after that, their entire turn is completely done. We have Karma Cannon to make it so we don't take any damage this turn. We can summon Lord of Heavenly Prison who can get a search off glitch there. But anyways, he uses Ash Blossom, but we didn't really use the Paleozoic there to send something to grave. It was more to get a search off. So grass, thank you very much. Rollback, elemental burst, destroy everything. Yeah, they had an evenly matched, they had a Raigeki, and now we can use the King Sarcophagus to summon a couple cards. We could even use Eldlich to get rid of our own summon limit to summon him out. Yeah, GG. Yeah, this was a game where it was very easy for me to win, and I'm not sure it's necessarily because I made a mistake, but it's more that they had the out, I guess. Yeah, so see, we went second three times in a row here. This deck can go second in a straightforward manner. Obviously, evenly matched is a big part of it, but we also have thrust, grass, ways to pump a bunch of cards that we care about into the graveyard so we can get really powerful interruptions like evenly matched and elemental burst. All right, they're popping off. So some sort of a rescue ace deck. I'm not sure yet if they also have Fire Kings. Auroradon. Oh wow. Okay. Some old school combos. What are they gonna do? Okay. Synchro. Yeah, I think I remember this end board was really unimpressive for the amount of spinning wheels that they had. Like, okay, you have a level 5 and a level 6, a level 8. Load. Okay, solid. That's one interruption. Burn me. Nemesis Corridor, who I don't think they had any way to search, so they just had it in hand, which allows them to get out Thunder Dragon. Okay, so yeah, I feel like they must have done something wrong here. Like, surely there's more than one Omni Negate and a Floodgate that you can put up, right? Like, We typically have had better end boards than this, but whatever. We're gonna Eldlich, target a card, send to grave. We're gonna target the Colossus because it's able to resist getting destroyed once. So we force out the negate. And we force out one of the destructions. But after having forced out the negate, that means they can't prevent the second negate. Elemental Burst, destroy everything. They've got some follow up for next turn, but I'm thinking, look, they have exactly one card that we don't know about in hand. We just destroyed their Thunder Dragon Colossus. After we use Imsety to discard Hapi, we're going to get a draw plus Sarcophagus, which allows us to summon at least two. No! Yeah, so if that one mystery card in hand hadn't been Ash Blossom, I think we definitely would have won this. Um, but now obviously they're going to start popping off, right? Putting up a bunch of traps. But if we had been able to summon three level eights to either make like the zombie vampire or, Sky Prison, whatever we wanted to, then we would have been in a good spot. That trap makes them unaffected by our effects. We also aren't going to be able to attack over it. They can destroy one of our cards. They can negate one of our cards. Yeah, so unfortunately, even though we cleared them, they prevented us from doing anything. And that was really smart that they destroyed our Eldlich on the end phase of my turn, because that meant I wasn't able to chain Conquistador to get value off of it. So now Conquistador is just a monster that's gonna sit there and try to soak up life points, but yep, now they get to pop off, recycle, and then they reset, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to kill us. That's the unfortunate thing about transaction rollback. Like, transaction rollback would normally, like, it cleared their entire board, right? It destroyed everything. However, it cost us half our life points. Yeah. So he has enough attack to hit over us, and the other one can kill us. I mean, who's to say what we would have top decked if we didn't have, half our life points, but oh well. But you see, like, that was very close despite ended up and eventually being a loss. All right, this next duel, what are we dealing with? Yeah, it's always so mysterious. Because we don't get to see their deck profiles. All right, finally, going first. Thank you very much. Yeah, in this version, I'm running Harpy's Feather Duster. It hasn't really come up yet, but I don't know. I'm running Thrust at 3 now, so that I get value off of and I just want like another target for Thrust to search sometimes. All right, let's try to get a mill. Okay. Oh, this is funny. So I stole their Tearlament Kashtira, which meant I milled another three cards. And the three cards I milled, one of them was a transaction rollback. And then I end up banishing their Tearlament Kashtira. So end board is Conquistador with a non-targeting destroy, summon limit, which is an absolute killer, and SP Little Knight. They banish Fenrir, which to me says that they have some way to access Earth. They go to battle phase pretending that they have evenly matched. So what I did was I summoned Eldlich, and then if they activate evenly matched, SP and Eldlich can get off the field, and then I would have left summon limit. So there they were just like clicking buttons. They're like, I think they were trying to bait me into activating a monster effect. And maybe they have like triple tactics talent or something in their hand, but now they have this weird floodgate that's not going to really matter. All right, destroy the weird floodgate. Summon out a Paleozoic Marrella. Yeah, they just had nothing. Easy clap. And we didn't even flip over summon limit there, which makes it even more funny. Okay. Rule number 5, staying alive. I apologize if you hear weird noises in the background. I sometimes I have a really good recording space and sometimes I don't. Okay, another going second game. Oh, is this finally Fire Kings? Okay. Yeah, Fire Kings can be very annoying. I've had some close duels with them when I ranked up to Master 5. How are they doing? Just the normal Snake Eye stuff at this point. It might be worth considering running a couple copies of Nibiru, honestly. Like, it seems like a lot of these Snake Eyes players don't really play in a way that, like, protects themselves from Nibiru. Okay. Ambler Whale. Oh no. Okay, so even though this is a Fire King player, he's really relying on me to like summon a monster so that he can Promethean Princess pop his own Ambler Whale and pop my card. He doesn't have the field spell, so I don't know how he's supposed to get his IP out. I don't know what this back row is, but it's probably not anything very good. We'll activate Pot of Extrav first. If they ash it, then we can use the other one. If you use Max C, we're probably not even going to summon, and that actually activates Triple Tactics Thrust, which allows us to get grass. Um, okay, so transaction rollback, evenly matched. I guess we'll never find out what that back row was. We're also running Super Poly in this version of the deck, just because it's a way to remove Fire King cards without destroying them. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are on interesting super poly targets that we can use against Fire Kings. I'll show you the ones that I have right now, but I feel like I could use a fourth one that's like specific to Fire Kings. There we activate Skill Drain, obviously, and it's just GG's. We were already in a super dominant position, but yeah, there was nothing they could do. All right, duel number 6. Let's see about this. Going first, thank you. Not the best opening hand. I'm really hoping Pot of Prosperity does something. So first I activate Cursed Eldland and Lord of Heavenly Prison to like bait out an Ash, bait out something. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe instead of trying to bait out an Ash, I should worry about Droll and Lockbird. I'm really hoping to get an Imsety or a Golden Sarcophagus. We don't get any of that, but we do get an Eldlixir, so like it's not the best board. We have a board wipe and we have a pop, engine for follow up. But it doesn't really matter because everything we would have had would have gotten banished anyways. So, okay, some sort of a Horus control deck. So here I really want to activate Torrential Tribute so I can summon Lord of Heavenly Prison who can set a Grasslet screener. So here what I did, I was kind of big brain plays. I had my toggle set to off because I wanted him to summon his monsters, notice that he's not getting any sort of resistance from me, and then he would feel safe to make an XYZ monster. So because he does this, where he puts both of these Horus monsters inside Galaxy Eyes, I can blow up Galaxy Eyes, and Imsety won't have any cards on my side of the field for him to send to grave. So like we're not going to get punished at all. We're going to destroy a monster, and we're going to be able to summon Lord of Heavenly Prison to get our search off. But that was definitely risky. If he just left it as 3 horse monsters, I would have been in huge trouble. He discards the final card. So my guess is he's going to make Dingirsu here, because Dingirsu would then send my grass looks greener to the graveyard. But that's one thing that's really nice about grass getting set off of Lord. They'll usually make like suboptimal plays after that to do whatever they can to get rid of grass. Like sometimes the threat is stronger than the execution. But here instead he makes Hope Harbinger, which in theory like is gonna absorb the spell card, but we just go into attack mode, we go to battle phase, we're going to crash into Hope Harbinger, and at that point he hasn't activated any I haven't activated any card effects for him to use the trap to start summoning back. So he'll get 1 summon off when I activate Grass, But if I get like yeah, there's a lot of great cards that I might be able to get off of that. And he just surrenders because he knows that I'm going to activate grass and absolutely pop off. I didn't even show him that I had a cursed Eldland in hand to, get additional follow-up. That's the sort of thing that you get out of running the 60 card deck that you don't get out of running the 40 card deck. Like with the 40 card deck, you're more consistent. Like you are going to run into your Lord of Heavenly Prison more often. You're going to run into some of your floodgates more often. But with the 60 card deck, Lord of Heavenly Prison, instead of getting you a draw two, can get you a mill 20. And like it feels weird that we're constantly getting access to grass, but like because we run three copies of Triple Tactics Thrust, three copies of Lord of Heavenly Prison, and grass itself, we actually have tons of ways to access it. Here they don't set any monsters, so like they clearly are totally bricked. And they're running a 60 card deck too, so I can't activate my grass either. So the reason that I used Thrust to just set up Paleozoic Marrella is because I wanted to set something that I can like dodge out of the way of if they try to target and banish it, instead of setting like board wipe like Karma Cannon. Also, I already had two board wipes. Okay. So we're seeing why they're bricked up, right? They have multiple copies of like Ash Blossom and stuff. All right, let's fast forward here. Yeah, this is the type of duel you get sometimes. You know, we brick, no one's immune to bricking. Sometimes we brick, and sometimes these decks brick. There they did the right thing. They waited to use Max C until I chained Paleozoic Marrella, so they got two draws. Lackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. So destroy a hand trap, banish a back row. Yeah, Blackluster Soldier is in that kind of weird tier of extra deck monsters that I really like, but just our extra deck gets kind of full now that we're running the Horus engine with a bunch of level 8 monsters. Now that we're running Super Poly. Okay. So we're gonna wait to use our torrential tributes until they've committed more resources. Here, my goal was to activate Eldlixir, use torrential tribute, and then use torrential tribute again when they try to negate it, which probably would have been premature. But for some reason, I right clicked on something or something, and torrential tribute didn't activate. Now we're gonna do that. This actually works really well. We don't even need to use our second torrential tribute. We just attack twice, destroy their monster. We can get our Eldlich monsters off the field by normal summoning Hapi, because obviously we used an Eldlixir, locking us out of non-zombie extra deck monsters. But now we're going to punish them if they remove any of our cards. We have a board wipe, and we have a second board wipe with rollback. So there, I waited for them to summon two level threes because they have the level three XYZ monster that gets them a lot of searches, and also one of their cards was going to get banished once we destroyed it. Yeah, so they have the level seven Griffin in hand, but like they can't do anything. So I don't know what they still have, but yeah, there they just surrender. See, this is why the Horus engine is so great. Like, in theory, you could argue it's not as good to run like in a mill deck, but it's like all we have to do is activate it, and a lot of times your opponent surrenders. Like you just kill your opponent so quickly. All right, I'm gonna go over what I have for the deck list so far. Like, I'm still adapting to the Fire King's format, so I'm not gonna go into super detail into stuff that you already understand. Like, we have the standard Horus engine with these, and then the three King Sarcophaguses. And we also have the rank 8 cards that go with it. We have the Spell Negate. We have sort of the walking Necrovalley that like locks your opponent's graveyard. We have Dingirsu, which is great for going second. You can send a card, protects all your cards from being destroyed. And we have a zombie vampire. So I usually like to make one of these going first, either to get a mill in to see if I can hit a rollback or maybe some Eldlich cards. Or I'll make a Sky Prison as a way to lock our opponent's extra deck if I already have a lot of good cards that I can put in my back row. Okay. And obviously Zeus to be paired up with all the XYZ monsters. We have the Eldlich engine, so a couple of these, two of these, three of these, and three of these. So we can get non-targeting destroys, non-targeting banishes, non-targeting destroys, and the Eldlich monsters come out really quickly. Between Eldlich and Lord of the Heavenly Prison, we have a lot of ways to get into our rank 10s. The Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max is great for just destroying every card, every monster your opponent controls, killing your opponent instantly by going up to 6,000 attack, and then going into Zeus if like that wasn't enough for some reason. Lord of Heavenly Prison is great for a lot of reasons. Obviously, it can do the rank 10 plays. It's a really easy 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense monster that you can use to crash into your opponent or to protect your life points. But what it also does is it protects all your set cards from being destroyed. So between Lord of Heavenly Prison protecting your cards from getting destroyed, um, and King Sarcophagus protecting all of your Horus monsters from being destroyed, and Eldlich the Golden Lord being protected from being destroyed when he comes back from the graveyard, we have a lot of ways to resist all of the crazy amounts of ways that Salamangreat and Fire Kings and these other decks can destroy our cards. Like getting destroyed is a huge problem right now. They're constantly destroying our cards. We have to be constantly destroying their cards in order to make up for everything that's happening. The other thing that Lord of Heavenly Prison can do is he can set a card that you need. Like maybe you just need King Sarcophagus for one turn to get a bunch of your Horus monsters out of the grave before you kill your opponent. But also you can set Pot of Extrav to get a draw two, or you could set Grass Looks Greener, which gets you a ton of advantage. It gets you like 25 cards in your grave. Usually gets a couple of your Eldlich cards in the grave to get your engine online. You can send either an elemental burst or an evenly matched grave along with transaction rollback, which you run at 3, which is amazing. Transaction rollback in the grave destroys all your opponent's monsters, flips all of your opponent's monsters face down, banishes all of your opponent's cards face down. Like this is sort of the power that this deck has. Which we access through Grasslet Screener. We can also access it through Triple Tactics Thrust. So our opponents are activating monster effects a lot, and it feels like they're activating them a lot more now in the Fire King format. Like the Fire King monsters, like during your main phase, will like start destroying themselves to special summon cards. And if they do that, Triple Tactics Thrust hit them with grass or something, totally punishes them. We have a number of cards for consistency. Obviously, Pot of Extrav and Pot of Prosperity are ways to draw additional cards. In the past, I kind of go back and forth on them because both of these cards lock you out of being able to draw cards. So you can't use Pot of Extrav and like Traptantalizing Tune, or Imsety only searches a card, he doesn't also draw you a card after you activate one of these pot cards. But like we have a 60 card deck, sometimes that consistency is really nice. Like you just activate a Pot of Prosperity, you dig for a really important card like Grass or something, or part of your Horus engine, and you just start absolutely popping off. Cursed Eldland is great going second. You can grab an Eldlich to your hand. You can send a spell or trap in your hand to grave, such as Transaction Rollback or Elemental Burst. Target a card, get rid of it, and then Eldlich can grab the Cursed Eldland and come back. Cursed Eldland also really pairs with King Sarcophagus. Like if you have both of these cards, then you're going to be able to mill multiple times and get your Eldlich engine online. It's fantastic. I don't run it at 3 just because 60 cards were still kind of tight. Uh, but I could be convinced to run it at 3. Really quickly, a couple other spell cards. Foolish Burial Goods, you can send an Elemental Burst or a Transaction Rollback to grave really easily. Harpy's Feather Duster, I just have this as another option that you can use with Triple Tactics Thrust. Like, we have a lot of ways to deal with our opponent's monsters between Karma Cannon, Torrential Tribute, and so on. And I don't know, I just felt like sometimes maybe it might be nice to have access to a Feather Duster. And it's a card that like you can discard going first if you need to. So I'm still experimenting with it. We'll see. Called by the Grave and Super Poly are our quick play spells. So we have Called by the Grave. Like there's so many cards in our opponent's graveyard we like to banish, like Promethean Princesses that are really annoying and sitting in their grave. Um, the level 9 fire hydrant monster, you know the one that sets all the spells and traps, the rescue waste monster, fire king monsters that go to the grave and then destroy something to special something back and then destroy a card you have, and then just like ash blossom. uh Called by the Grave is really nice. It's just a nice card that increases the consistency of our deck, which is nice when we're already 60 card. Like when I say that, I mean like there are ways of preventing our consistency, namely ash blossoms, are reduced by us having this. Finally, super polymerization. We don't have the Diabellstar package, which I guess you would probably put here. Like you'd probably get rid of Called by the Graves and Super Polys. Um, and because Wanted is now down to one, Wanted was a really big part of what made the Diabellstar package nice. Being able to recycle the cards, get extra draws, give you more follow up following turns. Right now, it feels like you kind of need to run like 3 copies of Diabellstar the Black Witch, which like she doesn't recycle and give you draws. It just like you're more consistently able to get value off of having cards in hand that you want to discard, such as Transaction Rollback, Elemental Burst. However, since we now have Super Poly, that's another way to get value off of having extra cards in our hand, maybe even like one of these Horus monsters, for example. So it's a way to get value off of having cards in hand. Super powerful. You can fuse away any 2 cards your opponent has. You can fuse it into Mud Dragon, which is 2 monsters of the same type, different attributes. Garura, same type and attribute. Or Earth Golem, which is great for like if they have Appaloosa plus IP or something. Like anytime you have a board with a bunch of link monsters, Earth Golem is a great fusion target. I probably want to have one more fusion target that I might replace with like Imduck or something. But yeah, I'd be curious to hear what interesting other super poly targets you know about. Let's see. You can't forget about Traptantalizing Tune. It's another consistency card that gets you draws. On the one hand, you do have to discard a card in order to get it online, which is okay if you have like Elemental Burst or Transaction Rollback, or maybe even like an evenly matched when you're going first. Um, However, that means instead of like Pot of Extrav, which is like you had 5 cards in your hand, and now you have 6 cards in your hand, you use 1 card and discard a card in order to draw 2 cards. So it's more like you had 5, and now you have 5 again. But it's a way to keep your deck consistent. Sometimes you get value off of the discard too. And importantly, it has a graveyard effect where you can banish it and target a card like Eldlixir and shuffle that back into your deck. And that's a big reason why I like it, is because you can even get value off of it getting milled to the grave by grass. It means that your Eldlich engine has a lot more recursion. You don't have to run a bunch of like the Eldlich spell cards that don't really help you that much. And they're just meant to be discarded or milled to the graveyard so you can banish them to set one of your golden land traps. So if you have this, then you don't have to run those spell cards, and you also get to draw sometimes with it as well. I think it's nice. Trap cards. Obviously, we have Torrential Tribute, which is still a solid card. I could be convinced to drop it down to 2 or something because Fire Kings is really resilient to getting destroyed. But Fire Kings isn't a tier 0 deck, right? It's like tier 1 because it's really novel, and it'll probably be pushed down to tier 2 after a couple of months. I don't know. Like, I think Torrential Tribute is still really good, and it's really good to have ways to wipe out your opponent's board, basically. So I like it. I still have it. Um, we also have Karma Cannon as another way to clear our opponent's board. It either flips their monsters face down, which can like keep you alive for a turn, which if you have the Horus engine, one turn is all you need to absolutely come back and come crushing your opponent. Elemental Burst, we've talked about that a lot. He pairs up with the Paleozoic Marrellas, which we can use to send a card to grave like Elemental Burst, like Transaction Rollback to blow up our opponent's entire field. Trap Trick is a way to make all of your traps a lot more consistent. That's a fun word to use a lot, but it helps to have a 60 card deck that can access all of these different tools really easily. Like I'll even Trap Trick into a Paleozoic Marilla sometimes and use it to send like a Huaquero to grave. Like it's just a way to get your Eldlich engine online if you need to. It's a really powerful interruption. And then we have Evenly Matched, which is amazing going second. I could be convinced to like drop a Torrential Tribute and move Evenly Matched up to 3, just because it's so powerful going second. And sometimes I feel like I'll like mill 20 cards to grave using grass, but I won't hit evenly matched in the grave, and I'll have to settle for using transaction rollback to copy something else like Karma Cannon. So I think Evenly Matched is fantastic. It pairs up really well with Traptantalizing Tune. The Horus monsters don't have a way to get a trap negate. Like they can get a spell negate and they can get a monster negate, but not a trap negate. I don't know. Fantastic stuff. Rollback, we've talked about that a lot. It's a big part of what makes our deck powerful. Solemn Strike is amazing going first or second. You just say no to any monster anywhere, and your opponent like has a hard time to responding to it. Like only other counter traps can even respond to a Solemn Strike. If you don't have the ultra rares to get Solemn Strike yet, Draco Utopian Aura is a counter trap that's basically the same thing that you can get for 500 gems a pop from the latest structure deck. It's really good, but it only negates monsters on the field, whereas Solemn Strike can negate a monster that like shuffled itself back into the deck or banished itself or was is in the graveyard. So Solemn Strike is just better. If you have that, I would run that instead of Utopian Aura, but I could also be convinced to like add a Utopian Aura or two if there were other cards that you wanted to get rid of. Like having 3 Solemn Strike plus like 2 or 3 Aura is not bad. We have our floodgates. It's pretty small, and it's not because I'm like a floodgate purist where I'm like, oh, I hate floodgates, I never want to run them. It's more of just that the format is really diverse, and it's hard for me to find floodgates that I feel super happy with that hit like all of our opponent's decks. Summon Limit is kind of a rare exception where going first, it can kill basically any deck. And it's good enough going second where like if you also clear their board by Torrential Tribute or Karma Cannon or even an Elemental Burst, like it doesn't matter if they have a million floating effect, like the Fire Kings has a million floating effects, or if you destroy all their monsters and they all start trying to like come back, if you have summon limit, then you can still shut them down. And then obviously skill drain is fantastic, just negates all monster effects. We don't care about monster effects on the field that much. Lovely stuff. What else do we have to go over? We talked about the level 10s, Zeus. We also have kind of this link package. So you can, a lot of times you'll end with Eldlich plus a Huaquero or a Conquistador. So then on your turn, you link off one of these into an Imduck, and then you link both of these into SP Little Knight to get a Banish off. We also have a couple of Charmers, which you can make using either like a Imsety or a Lord of Heavenly Prison to make the Dark Charmer, or a couple of Eldlich related cards to make the Light Charmer, steal an opponent's card. And we also have Blackluster Soldier. I could be convinced to switch this out for like Chaos Angel. Like I really miss Chaos Angel. It's one of those cards where I wish could make it more. Like there are instances where like there are a lot of cases where I want to make Chaos Angel, but then I'll realize I took it out of my extra deck. But then if I replaced it with Blackluster Soldier, then there'll be other cases where like I'll have Chaos Angel be like, oh, I wish I could make blast. Anyways, there's I wish we had like three more extra deck slots. Um, yeah, this is what I have so far. It's probably going to continue changing. We'll see how well these cards play out, but I hope that you enjoyed this video and had a chance to learn some cool stuff. And as a extra thank you, I have one more duel to show you. That's right. This is the Encore secret at the end of the video duel. You never saw that coming, did you? So this was one that I had in ranked against a dinosaur deck, and it was fantastic. Like I couldn't believe I got this deck, this win. They set up like probably the best possible board that they can muster, and frankly, probably one of the better boards that like any deck can muster. And we're able to beat it with like not the most amazing hand. Obviously, the big weakness that dinosaurs have is like if we had had an imperm, we probably could have stopped a decent chunk of what they're trying to do. All right. So let's take a look at this for a second. Do they have any level 2 monsters we care about in Grave? Not really. Okay, so they have Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So during the main phase, they can basically Karma Cannon my entire field. That's pretty strong. They have this, which can negate two times anything. So it has two Omni negates associated with it. As long as the materials are dinosaur and or reptile, which guess what? That's what they are. So they have two Omni negates, a Karma Cannon, and they have a double like Solemn Strike. So can you imagine if we opened up where we had two Solemn Strikes? So anyways, monster effect is activate, negate, and destroy. Two like I don't know the trap that Diabellstar has, where you can negate any card on the field, and a Karma Cannon. Like that's an amazing board. And we don't draw into Super Poly either to like cheat out a win. So here, Sprite Elf was protecting both of these cards from targeting, and for some reason, okay, while his material opponent can target it. Yeah, so I couldn't target any of these cards, so I have to go for Sprite Elf, and it's like, why would he? He's like, yeah, why would I negate that? Go ahead. I'm just gonna summon out a monster, or like if I, Karma Cannon you, I'm also gonna like get a search off. Okay. So there he chose not to negate and destroy Lord of the Heavenly Prison. I think the logic is like he wants to wait for me to activate it on his turn so that he can destroy it when it tries to summon itself. I'm not sure. We don't even have any board wipes. Like if we had a Carmen Cannon here, that'd be one thing, but yeah, so double Omni Negate. SP Little Knight's going to get a banish. Okay, so they choose not to use SP Little Knight to banish a card because I don't have any cards, and if they banish, then they can't attack me directly. So that's kind of an advantage of just having Lord of Heavenly Prison, having three face down cards. They're not going to get banished by SP Little Knight because they want to kill you, but they can't destroy any of your cards either. So here I'm testing to see if they have an Ash Blossom. They use this monster effect to try to send it to grave. And now we just use Solemn Strike to destroy it. And none of their monsters can hit over Eldlich. So that's the key thing that I was looking for. They summon another Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Okay. They have double Omni Negate. They have double Monster Negate. We're not going to bother doing anything right now. Yeah, here he's letting the effects go through. I think he's like worried that I'm trying to bait out his effects or something, but he has two monster negates and he chooses not to use them. He's two omni negates. Which they're only for on the field, so I understand why he hasn't activated them yet. Okay, so here I threatened to go to battle phase, which obviously I could destroy. I could crash into Conductor Tyranno. I could destroy one of the XYZ cards. So he's forced to Karma Cannon my field. However, because Eldlich had been in the same position from the previous turn, we can just flip him over. We're going to destroy the card that allows them to negate and destroy monster effects. So now he still has the two on the field Omni negates, but we can activate Lord of the Heavenly Prison with impunity now. We also have a Huaquero if we need to banish a card in his grave. All right, so now we're starting to pop off. Like, it's possible that he was being a little bit too careful, but also you understand why he felt careful, right? Like he has like a million negates. All right, so he has Pankratops, which can destroy a card. Okay, he flips my monsters face down. Go ahead. XYZ. What is this? A monster would be normal or special summoned, or when a spell or trap card is activated, detach two materials, negate the summon or activation, and if you do, destroy it. Okay, so he has a sort of like a solemn warning, I guess. Yeah, so he has a lot of negates here. How are we going to handle this? First, we're going to attempt to Karma Cannon. He uses one of his Omni negates, about time. We use here we use Transaction Rollback to copy Destructive Duruma Karma Cannon. Notice here when a spell or trap card is activated, it's not trap or and then it's not a trap effect, it's a trap card. That's an important thing to look for when you consider rollback, because when you do this, then it isn't a trap card, it's a trap effect. So basically, he can't stop me. He's gonna shotgun a bunch of effects, try to dodge out of the way. He uses Pankratops to destroy this. I'm not sure why he isn't able to chain. Like, if a monster would be special summoned, couldn't that have negated and destroyed? I'm not sure. For some reason, something doesn't work. I probably shouldn't have activated Lord of Heavenly Prison there. I think it got like premature, but whatever. So these two cards still are really powerful negates that we have to deal with. But now we have a Lord of Grasslick Screener. We have Grasslick Screener. Yeah, so he can still negate my grass. We'll see what we're gonna do about that. And he can still Karma Cannon me. All right, we're just gonna bait it out, I guess. Oh, I see. So here my plan was he has to target and negate this card. So I'm gonna try to use Conquistador to destroy my own grass so that it goes to grave and it isn't negated. But unfortunately, he's able to SP Little Knight, banish my Eldlich. So what I should have done here is I should have flipped this other Eldlich too. But also he can Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to flip my Eldlich's face down. So yeah, maybe it would have been better just to flip them up, attempt to go to battle phase. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno flips them back down, and then I flip this guy face up and attack. So, yeah, I think that would have been the play. So, this is a misplay on my part. We still get a Huaquero off to banish a random card before it gets reset by Tyranno. Okay. Link summon the Light Charmer. Anything we're going to steal? Nope. All right, we are going to summon out Eldlich. Okay, we can make something. So now we have another Conquistador. Yeah, there I should have used Eldlich to destroy the face down card, but we use SP Little Knight, which at least baits out his effect. So now all he has is SP Little Knight and Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. And his effect to Karma Cannon is only during the battle phase. So once he goes to battle phase and he starts trying to do stuff, I can um Oh, that's interesting. Even now, I'm still misplaying. Okay, so if I had activated Conquistador to try to destroy his Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, he just chains SP Little Knight to banish my Eldlich and SP. And then if Conquistador is in defense mode, then he can send it to grave and inflict 1,000 damage. So here it's just like I keep it in attack mode, and yeah, he doesn't attack me. Hmm. Why doesn't he attack me? I don't know. I'm not sure. All right. Eldlich tries to flip us. All right, we just get rid of SP Little Knight, and now there's nothing protecting him from my Conquistador, or even a Karma Cannon. I mean, a Torrential Tribute. Goodbye. And we have a bunch of resources engraved to start banishing to get more stuff going. Yeah, so even making a couple of misplays, I mean, seemed like he was making misplays too, but Eldlich comes out, 3,500. He can only survive one more turn. What are you going to top deck? He doesn't have anything in his grave that's going to help him. GG, that's it. Yeah, what a crazy duel. You never see too much Dino stuff. Yeah, I think this has been a really fun video for me. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing the deck profile, seeing all the crazy gameplay, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.